Today, we're gonna be talking about the gear that I use personally. Starting off is the very first camera that I got over 13 years ago. This is the Canon A2E. This camera has run more film through it than I would like to admit. And there's so many features that I love about it. It has a built-in light meter, it has autofocus, it has a really fast shutter. It has all of the trimmings of a modern digital camera, but built into an analog body. And for someone starting out who's a little nervous about settings, I can't recommend this camera enough. Anything that is later era film camera will be more like a modern camera. It'll have a lot of the bells and whistles. One thing I love about the A2E is how robust it is. It really feels like a professional camera.
Let's check out some shots from it.
Moving on. This is my Leica Mini 2. You know, when I was getting into film photography 12 years ago, it felt like it was the end of the medium. So people were getting rid of film cameras left and right. It felt like it was going away very soon. But luckily, you know, years later, it's still going strong, and many of you are joining the fold of people who shoot on it. This Leica Mini somehow I picked up at Goodwill for under $10, and I have also put this camera through its paces. But one thing I love about a point shoot, you put it in your pocket when you're going to events, when you're going to functions with a lot of people. It's a lot less conspicuous than a big hulking DSLR, and allows you to get interesting content that you just couldn't get with other cameras. It's fully automatic, everything's built in. Some features no longer work on it just because I really put it through its paces, but I'm always shocked at the image quality that you can get out of this camera.
And here's some shots from it.
Moving on. Next up is my baby. This is the camera that I shoot with the most. It's the Yashica Mat 124G. This is a twin lens reflex camera, meaning you have one lens that you use to focus, one lens that takes the shot. And I became gravitated towards a twin lens camera after seeing works from Vivian Maier, Diane Arbus, Lee Miller. These were all photographers that used the twin lens in a way that I'd never seen before. I use the twin lens on the street. I find that the twin lens is way less intimidating for people when they're taking their photo. Half the time they're not even sure what they're looking at. It has such a vintage look for a camera that was built in the late 80s. I love the conversations that it starts on the street with people who say, you know, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa had this camera and it reminds me of family vacations. You know, the twin lens was supposed to be a more approachable camera for people who are just getting into photography. One thing about me is I really put my cameras through the paces. The focus on this, you know, no longer shows the true metering. I have to constantly be doing surgery on it, but it's still reliable. It doesn't require batteries. I love that it really slows you down. Only 12 exposures per roll. I loved the camera so much, I named the channel after it.
And here's some shots from it.
Last but not least, it's actually not a photography camera, but it's a film motion picture camera. This is my Rollei Super 8. It takes Super 8 cartridges, loaded like that. It's fully automatic with a zoom lens. I love taking this out on the street when, you know, I'm a little bit burnt out of taking photos. I love the video aspect of this. The look that you get from Super 8 is just like home movies. It has a feeling of nostalgia that you cannot get from any plugin or preset. If you have a chance to shoot Super 8, I highly encourage you to. It's a blast. It's really fun. There's several other cameras I own, but these are the cameras that are out with me day to day, week to week. They're in the trenches. I'm really getting a lot of use out of them. They're super reliable. I know that if I have them on me, I can make some good work. Let me know down in the comments what cameras you're shooting with, what you're excited about, any questions that you might have. Hopefully I can help you out. Thank you for watching. This is the Twin Lens.